Learning the Sfas Emes, Narrations, Chanukah, meaning in Sefer Bereshis on Chanukah 634. First night of Chanukah, the Sfas Emes writes that the Taz quotes that the Nes was that there was a leftover one pach, one vial of shemen, that the brochel would take place on that, and it would remain for 8 days. And the question is, the Nes is not al pi teva, and it's not a brocha. Oiv nisim are without preparation of the natural order at all. In a sense, he's asking basically, how could you fulfill your obligation of nature? It's not nature, it's Nes. Just you have to say that it was the special love that HaKadosh Baruch Hu caused that they should find the shemen that was natural, and the brocha will fall on that natural bit that should be considered like Klal Yisrael made all of the oil by themselves. And truly, the Nes of Chanukah is very beloved. It shows a special love from Hashem to Klal Yisrael. Because all the Nisim were to save Yisrael. The Nes, to do a mitzvah, even though when the person is unable to do a mitzvah because of circumstances, he's not well, let's say, or he doesn't have the Torah Shemen, in the Oines Rahmana, the Torah said, Yepoto, it still shows the love of Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants their actions, and therefore he made it possible for them to have a Nes, so they should be able to keep the mitzvah that they want to. That's what the Levush is writing, that it was established for Halal Nidor, not for drinking, because the Nes had nothing to do with anything except mitzvah, to have a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And even though we were saved, still, that's a Nes, that they found that they pach shemen, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to show them, I saved you, some of the purity, we can say even the concept of purity of the past, purity of a connection to previous generations. We don't even know who the Kohen Gadol was, although it's brought down in certain sforim what his name was, but the connection of previous generations. You can say also that by the Shunamis, it's brought down that the oil that Elisha asked her how much what she has in the house, and she had oil. He told her to bring containers, and it filled up. That the oil actually brought in from the entire world the oil. It wasn't a supernatural oil. It was oil that was delivered supernaturally, but it was real oil from the olives, and that's why no one else had oil except for herself, and she became wealthy from it. The same idea is by Chanukah. Could very well be that the idea was that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was supplying us with a supply of pure oil, but the basis had to be that which is made by man, as the Sfas Emes points out here. The Sfas Emes continues that the Chidush Harim, according to certain texts, we find this text in the Balatur, Aitur, that the mezuzah, when you light Chanukah left, you have the mezuzah to your right, and the Chanukah to your left, and the Balabayas is sitting with the talis, is with the talis mitzuyetzes in the middle. And the Chidush Harim asked the question, which seems to be a logical one, there's no tzitzis at night. He doesn't, and he writes, as Sfas Emes writes, he doesn't remember what the Chidush Harim said to answer it. But he himself writes that it would seem to me, to the mitzvahs in Chanukah, there remains a light to the doorway of a Jew. The entranceway to a Jewish household becomes illuminated, gives off light, like a mezuzah. It should be that the fact that Chanukah was lit there remains throughout the year. I would just add to this a thought while I was reading it, that since Ner Chanukah is at night, so that covers the night. What covers the day? The Pesach, a Jew wearing talis and tzitzis by day, which is a beged of day, then he completes the 24-hour cycle. That's why they mention that a person with a talis mitzuyetzes band, so that the tzitzis remain with the person, even though by day, after nightfall, he doesn't have to wear talis, tzitzis, still it remains with him that shmir, that's watch over him from the talis even at night. The second night of Chanukah, Sfas Emes said it's mitzvah to place it on the doorway of the house outside. And he brings us the shiurim that it's according to the Gemara. Somebody who doesn't have Yerushalayim, he doesn't have the keys, the outer keys to get into the inner circle, inner house. Therefore, it's understood on Chanukah, the door is open. At the doorway, you have Yerushalayim by every Jew, lights by his door. Therefore, they established the mitzvah of Neros. It should be at the doorway, because when you open up the heart of a Jewish person to the fear of Hashem, he can receive the of Torah, which is his inner desire anyway. And this is what we say Hallel v'Odah. Why do we say Hallel and Odah? There's two things. There's praise and there's thanks. Because through the Nes of Chanukah, the Shem Shamayim was made holier. It says, whose the name of God was greatened. A great name, and a holy name. Everyone saw that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was the victor and his strength, because it wasn't natural, the victory either. And through that, the fear of Hashem fell on the entire world. And certainly Bnei Yisrael received that fear of Hashem the way it should be, and from the victory, we say praise to Hashem, and from the concept of our receiving the ability to have fear of Hashem, we thank Hashem that we are humbled to understand we are unable by ourselves to do. That's the concept of thanks. And the Sfas Emes goes on to say that could be the machloikis, the disagreement between Shammai and Hillel. Whether you begin with 8 days and you go down to 1, 8 candles and go down to 1, or you start with 1 and go up to 8. Whether the main thing is the Hallel or the Odah. Is it the thanks to Hashem? So it's for 8 days. There's a greater amount, and you go down afterwards. Or Odah, or the thanks, the praise or the thanks. And we have a halacha like Beis Hillel, because a person's desire has to be that for Hashem. So in a sense, the one, I guess you could say, refers to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as well, who's one, even though one has to get rid of the evil that he's involved with and to rectify himself. Still, it doesn't mean that he's preparing himself except for one purpose, for that to say sanctify the Shem Shemayim, and through his desire for this outcome, he receives the fear of Hashem on the person. That's why we count the days that enter and go out, and understand that's what Beis Hillel say. Understand each day you're adding to your life. It's not that you're missing another day, but rather you're adding. Malam HaKodesh, one always goes up from 1 to 2 to 3 to 8. It means when you have these two aspects together, the greatness of Hashem Yisborach and his victory, and our humbleness of man to get rid of his evil desires, then we can attach ourselves to Kedusha, and that's what Klal Yisrael is meant to do. Sfas Emes goes on, Meshem HaMagid, I think it's a question of Magid, he brings down what you light now, today. They light inside the home rather than the doorway, because we consider ourselves so humble from the Golus, and we're not only humbled, we're downtrodden. And even inwardly in our own houses, you find that which should not be there, which is the influence of the outside world. And therefore, even when you're inside the house and you light the candles, it's like you're opening up the doorway. You're opening up a little bit. That little bit that you have should be holy and open. And the general rule is to ask for mercy from Hashem. That through the lighting of the candles, we will be able to get rid of our evil desires and separate ourselves from the outer world. And a person has to believe that Chachomim, they relied on the Nes, and they established it for Yom Tovim, for all generations to come. May we merit seeing the light of the menorah and the Beis Hamikdash in our times, even this year.